North Korean leader Kim Jong Un could soon meet face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Although they are neighbors, the two last met in 2019. According to the White House, the leaders are expected to meet and discuss trade deals involving military weapons, with North Korea potentially supplying Russia's forces in Ukraine.
That meeting will reportedly take place on Russia's Pacific coast, with Kim traveling by armored train in a rare trip outside his hermit kingdom. The Kremlin, however, saying today that it could not confirm any reports of that meeting. NBC News foreign correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now live. Matt, it's good to see you this Tuesday. Just sort of what details do we have at this point? What can you tell us about this potential meeting? And sort of what does it say in a larger context about the growing relationship between these two countries?
Well, you know, word of this trip and the meeting is new. This is a new thing, but that isn't the first time we've heard about Moscow reaching out to Pyongyang to try to secure weapons from what's widely called the Hermit Kingdom, which really just goes to show how bad off the situation is in North Korea and how surprising it is that Putin would make these entreaties to Pyongyang. Now, Putin has made these requests of Kim Jong Un shortly after his invasion began early last year, after it became clear that Russia wouldn't be scoring an easy victory in Ukraine. And Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu, he visited North Korea in July when he handed Kim a personally signed letter from Putin. But, you know, guys, we can look at this as a sign of desperation, as I just mentioned, on Putin's part. Despite its nuclear ambitions, North Korea's military technology is very poor. So the fact that Putin is going begging to Pyongyang just shows how bad his military really is at this moment.
Well, Matt, Ukraine's counteroffensive is attempting to push Russia back. So talk about this. If they really do reach a deal, North Korea provides some sort of weapons to Russia, what will that mean for Ukraine?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question. It's a hard one to answer. I would venture to guess, and again, this is a guess, that it will do almost nothing, especially on the battlefield. And we've been seeing how a huge influx of Western weapons has really tipped the balance in favor of Kyiv, in favor of the Ukrainians on the battlefields of Ukraine. But guys, that is not what's on offer from North Korea. So even if the Russians were to secure some kind of deal for Moscow to provide it with weapons, it's really hard to imagine that these North Korean weapons, at least some of which are made in North Korea, others are probably badly out of date. I don't think this would even be noticeable on a battlefield that really does showcase some of the most advanced armaments in the world at the moment. So North Korean weapons, I just don't see them making a dent.
Matt, Russia's also getting closer with China, which is an ally of North Korea. How does China play into all of this?
Well, you know, it's a very important question. And honestly, the relationship between Beijing and Moscow is a bit of a moving target. Because remember, Putin visited China's Xi Jinping a few months ago, and there was a lot of hand-wringing in the West, a lot of anxiety about what that meeting could mean. But the meeting didn't really lead to much in terms of deeper cooperation between Moscow and Beijing. And we're hearing reports that Russia invited North Korea to join its naval exercises with China. That's unlikely to destabilize East Asia in the near term. But it raises some more sort of abstract, long-term security concerns. If these exercises do go through, and if they plant the seed for closer relations among Russia, China, and North Korea, that could cement a new kind of alliance or axis that's opposed to the West and possibly in favor of expansionist military adventures like Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and even more troubling, potentially Beijing's ambitions to take over Taiwan and those islands that are contested in the Western Pacific. So a new axis of cooperation like that between these three countries would make it much harder for the international community to isolate nations that violate international legal norms, to punish and to sanction, because these nations would have friends.
All right. That is true. NBC News foreign correspondent Matt Bradley, thank you so much for your analysis today.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.